live. Hopefully. We shall see.
We shall see.
There it goes. There's gonna be.
There we go.
Yep, there they go.
I don't know. We lost someone.
Did Judd just fall off? I think Judd just fell off. Okay.
And welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Hi.
I can hear you, but
There has to be a way to buy more of those.
Welcome
all I'm
back.
seeing is Mr. Tex Murphy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
Can you hear
I've been
us?
streaming for the last 20 minutes, and nobody has said anything.
We've been talking for the last 20 minutes without knowing you're streaming.
So I am
I
live.
wasn't streaming.
So Tom, how does the audio? Oh, thank you, Queen Freaking Bee. Welcome to the Friday Night Podcast. As you can tell, we are just getting started, and I do have the new kitty cam set up. If you can tell, Prissy has all the attitude that any of us will ever need. Oh,
Am I the asshole?
right?
Yeah,
I
I
this
deserve it.
situation I was, and I didn't mind being.
Yeah.
I fully agree with being the asshole in that
That's what you
situation.
need.
Yeah. So, for me, the one thing that's changed is I can't host Dungeons and Dragons in my home because I can't.
Right.
Yeah. So, I'm a very southern hostess of like, okay, we're gonna make food, we're gonna have drinks,
I was gonna say you probably put up your hors d'oeuvres and
Yeah.
nice little wet bar going on and everything. And
I always had everyone's favorite drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. I always had that on hand. My issue came when the last D&D session, right before the pandemic was announced. Like this is a thing. I could not, for the life of me, get 3 men to wash their fucking hands. It's like, okay, oh, well, the first time it's like, oh, well, I don't like bar soap. Okay, so I've got like 4 different pumps in there. I've got, a fabric towel that they can use. I've got just plain paper towels. I set out, a pump with lotion in it because I'm sick of hearing people bitch. And I set out, paper, like fancy bath paper towels. And I'm like, okay, there is no excuse for you not to wash your hands if you go in that bathroom. And that D&D, yeah,
Dirty, greasy fingerprints on everything.
that D&D session, no one washed their hands that went in that bathroom.
Oh, gross.
It's not exactly difficult.
It's not. And the thing is, like, I actually had to, like, force someone in the group to use Germex because he literally went like this and sneezed into his hand and then reached for my dice. It's like, I'm immune compromised. If I get the flu, it's like no bueno, okay? It's no good. So it's like, okay, hey, can you please just go and wash your hands? And he's like, it's fine. I just won't touch anything with this hand. No, dude, it's 5 feet that direction.
Have you heard of a little thing called cross-contamination?
So it's
I'm
like,
vegetarian, and I know about that rule.
So it's like, okay, so if I do host another in-house Dungeons and Dragons group, it's going to have to be with people that understand that if they come in, their stuff's going to get disinfected, their shoes are going to get sprayed down, and they're basically going to enter here, and if they can't wash their hands, and I know they didn't wash their hands, I'm just going to kick them out. That's it. D&D is over. Everyone go home.
This is reminding me of that.
She kills their character and tears up the character sheet. They don't come back.
Yeah, a giant hole opened over you, and you just died in a giant pile of fecal matter. Congratulations, you're dead. Moving on. That reminds me of the Far Side post where it had the alarms walking in the bathroom. Didn't wash hands is going off as a guy walks out, and he's just kind of like, everyone's just looking at him like, you sick son of a bitch.
Yeah, right?
No, the other thing that's making me laugh about how obsessed people are with disinfectants. Like, okay, yes, there's plenty of good disinfectants out there, but you're buying up all the bleach when there's disinfectants that are way better that you're leaving on the table.
I
And
don't
I'm
know.
not buying
Here, it took me a while to get my favorite. My favorite is actually really cheap, and I love it. I do. I love it. It's my favorite. It's Spick and Span. Because once it dries, it's food safe. And that's
Oh,
great
yeah.
because my sister has a ton of kids. So it's like anytime I have them over, I can spray that down. It can dry on the surface or I can wipe it up. And I don't have to worry about, oh, is that going to make my sister's kids sick? That's like my biggest thing is, oh, Tom, what did you do?
I
Tom.
remember an episode of The Simpsons where Homer was trying to gain weight so that he could work at home.
Oh,
And they consider being overweight. It was like over 400 pounds. It became a disability, and he would get a home workstation. And he's on the scale, and he's like 392, right? And Bart picks up a can of Play-Doh and goes, "Dad, look, non-toxic." And Homer just like, you're talking about Spick and Span being food safe, and I'm just picturing your niece and your nephew just like over here, just like
eating
licking
the
the
plate.
scale.
Okay, I can really, really hope that my sister and her kids never see this, but it's gonna go up on YouTube later. I might cut this part out. When I have my sister's kids visiting, I have to hide the toothpaste because they will eat it.
What? You're not joking. They'll eat the toothpaste.
I can't leave anything in the bathroom because
That's
you can barely hear who.
I'm not saying.
I'm gonna
anything.
say it's Tom.
Where went mine?
Okay. I'll turn up Tom and Brad because
You
yeah.
better be a good cat.
I've got
Oh, I'm talking to
I've
someone.
got
Mike, get away
to
from my face.
with you right now.
Ah.
Go
I got the-
lay down.
That was
Go lay
loud.
down.
Let's see, I can make myself louder. That ain't no problem. Oh, I don't
Ah.
have to do
Come here. Come
I'm
here.
Don't
sorry.
make yourselves louder because I was making you louder. Don't blow out my eardrums.
Louder.
I'm gonna crank
Okay,
it.
how is their volumes now? Let me
Oh, I know why.
how's that? Or that?
Honey,
Ah. Apparently, I'm not loud enough.
No, you're don't.
you're all right.
Okay.
You're all
No, I'm reading from the Twitch chat room.
Yeah, well you're reading it after I'm adjusting volumes, so please don't adjust yourself.
Let me listen again.
No, I'm letting you adjust it. I'm not messing with it.
Okay, cool.
I'll blow out your eardrums and I'll get yelled at again. No, thank you.
Okay, how's that, you guys? Well, there's quiet now. You guys are the ones that are quiet. Okay, so he is definitely quiet.
Well,
Am I
I think
okay?
he left. No,
Who?
yeah, I
Jared.
homebrew, so I have tons of, like food-safe sanitizers and sterilizers at my house. And I just find it really funny when people are like, "We're gonna buy all the bleach." It's like you're not supposed to use bleach on stuff you're gonna cook with.
Yeah.
Who the
What?
fuck is banging on the door?
I'm still a bit
Yeah.
louder. Okay, here, let me turn that.
Everybody, is it Brad?
Okay, how about that?
Jim left.
How about now? He'll be back. He's been having issues.
Okay,
Okay. How's that?
someone's banging on my door. Be right back.
FedEx is there.
No, that's
10 o'clock at night? No.
Okay, so anyways, but yeah, no,
Oh, that's not loud at all.
what's not loud at all?
Well, when I unmuted Discord, it was just like in my ears.
Oh yeah, right. That's where I've got you guys. But yeah, no, new topic, I guess, since people are disappearing. My cat just bit my toe. Ow. Sorry. Just about jumped out of my seat there. Can you not do that and be like a good girl? I know you don't understand what that means. And you're
That's
just reading my
interesting.
tone.
I
What's
no
up?
longer have moderator as an option.
You don't have moderator, what? Where?
I don't have mod. Normally it says, "Do you want to try mod view?" And suddenly that's not showing up.
You're totally a moderator, though.
Yeah, I am because I see the little sword by my name. But
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so that's probably part of the issues with the update. Like I said, a lot of sites that are doing updates are like, I'm gonna say
Alright,
like
it's
half-assing just a little bit.
Okay, so it wasn't my door, but apparently someone's knocking on my neighbor's door like it's the SWAT. No, like full on, like loud enough to where I can hear them over my
The
headphones.
cop knock.
Conversation.
Yeah, the cop knock. Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
So-
That's not the first time this has happened.
So, Bunny, when I log into your Twitch channel, it says it's your 2-month sub anniversary. I just found myself wondering who the other.
Okay, you guys can keep talking. So, yeah. So, NVIDIA really didn't
Thank you.
give us
Well,
anything that we usually would like to hear from.
Yeah, the way they phrased the announcement was they sent it out to all the game news media as well. That's what had everyone thinking they're going to announce the new RTX
Right?
3000 series. It's like, get amped up, and they're sending it not just to like tech news, but they're telling it to like Gamer Nexus and places like that. I'm just like, okay, if you're not going to announce anything gamer consumer focused, why are you sending it to gamer news outlets?
Had to send something. I would imagine they're going to come out with a product probably in the beginning of November. Because if they announce what they're going to put out this early, AMD is just going to smoke them again come Christmas time, and they don't want that.
Yeah, typically the announcements for video cards are made at either CES or in August. That way, they have a little bit of runway still left before holiday quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to have to advertise a little bit, but I mean, I don't know, man. I've heard stickers that they actually shot their wad on the super cards, and that all they can really do is maybe beef up the memory. They can't really do much else.
Turn up the clock speed a little bit more, and
Well, that
Yeah, they can pump them a little, but they haven't really got anything new. I mean, they're in the same boat that Intel is in. AMD shocked everybody. I wish I had a time machine. I could go back and buy some stock in that company because everybody thought they were gone, and then all of a sudden they rose like the Jedi, man. Here we are.
Right?
Yeah, I was into them at about $15 a share,
Dang.
and I sold at about $38.
Wow, that's too bad.
I wish I'd kept it for longer, but at the time,
You doubled your money.
Oh hell yeah! No, I was even after taxes. I more than doubled my money. That was worth it. I mean, that was a bumper stock, not like my Apple stock that I sold at $15 a share.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
I didn't
That
sell
even
at
hurts
15.
me, and
there was a time when I honestly thought Apple was going to go bankrupt. Right before they.
everybody thought Apple was going to go bankrupt.
My stockbroker in high school talked me into selling out my Apple stock. I had a few thousand shares of Apple, and my
shares of Apple.
2,000.
2,000? 200?
I was between 1,500 and 2,000.
Okay.
Don't you wish?
My dollar cost average was about $15 a share. I sold at about 20. I actually went back and did the math. If I'd sat on that and I sold that at the day of the iPad announcement, I would have netted probably close to $100,000 on that transaction alone.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I want to go back and find my stockbroker, just like squeeze his neck a little, going, "You son of a!" If I'd even sold it when the iPod was announced, like a year later, I would have easily made.
So we're gonna go with the nice saying of shoulda, woulda, coulda, and move on to a new topic.
I should have kept my Bitcoin back in the day.
Oi. Okay, so next topic. Club Penguin Online has been shut down because of receiving copyright claims from Disney.
I'm just going to ask the obvious question. What is Club?
And it cuts him off. He cut him off for me.
Yeah,
Club Penguin was an online website service that Disney offered for kids. In fact, the sign-up even said your parents' email address. It was an online sort of like social network back in the early days.
Little tiny
kids.
video games for kids, socializing. Kind of like
okay.
if you ever heard of Neopets, kind of that.
Yeah, Neopets. The one my daughter was really into was the one with the bears. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, same deal. You buy the little stuffed animals, and
Oh, the Care
the tie
Bear?
ones. You buy the little stuffed animals, and
Yeah.
they all come with
Not the
code.
Care Bear.
And
Yeah.
you put that character in it, and then they shut the thing down, and it's like,
Yeah, that was Build-A-Bear's attempt at doing something.
it wasn't Build-A-Bear. Well, I remember the Build-A-Bear had one too. But the one I'm thinking of, I thought was the tie animals. I could be wrong. But yeah, and then the Squishies did that. They had Squishy Land one, and it was like that one shut down, and even they still kept advertising it in the gumball machines. You get your code in the Squishy Land game, but there was no game anymore. But bottom me is we bought her a lot of stuff in there. I bought her quite a few digital only characters, and then they shut down, and it's like, okay, great, you can't play the game anymore. Yeah, thank you for the money.
Pretty much. So yeah, no, this isn't the first Club Penguin to be shut down. It's just one of the most recent. And the fact that, Disney's going after other things to basically state their claim.
So these places are what? They're calling themselves Club Penguin, even though
this is Club
Disney's
Penguin
Club
Online.
Penguin no longer exists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so Disney's coming after them for what, like trademark infringement, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, is what it looks like. I don't even know how they got the source code for it, because a lot of the stuff from what I read was literally word for word, just like it was when Disney ran it.
Well,
yeah.
Dude, I mean, how hard is it to download, a website? I mean, the client side code is open source by default because there's no way to protect it.
Yeah, but the client side stuff is just like, I just saw how they did some of it. Apparently someone stole some databases. Oof, no bueno.
So a lot of what's going on is they were using licensed trademark stuff that was in their original Club Penguin site, and Club Penguin was a huge hit. They grossed over like 8 million users, and all their income and all that crap that they bought in a 2-year time frame before the site went down. Like before they said, okay, hey, Club Penguin's done. So if anyone does try to revive the game, it'll be extremely difficult now. You'll have to worry about Disney, and all honesty, it isn't worth it. The admin of Club Penguin Online published. That's what he wrote to his responses to a lot of what was going on in the backlash.
Something is something. Why would you want to do that anyways? I mean, it just sounds like it sounds like you're just blatantly trying to ride on Disney's coattails. And I mean, that's literally why trademark laws exist. That exact thing. So I got a finger for you.
Right. Okay. So another topic that we had on hand is and hopefully we can get Jim talking with this one. The new Star Trek series that has come out.
I don't think it's going to be very good. The guy that got the lead guy, he's a terrible actor. Rebecca
Quite
Ryan.
honestly, turn off his damn mic.
Rebecca Ryan is past her prime. I mean,
Shut his home, baby. Shut up.
And who thought Ethan Peck would make a good Spock? I mean, really, come on.
Everybody who saw him in the first episode, what the hell are you rambling about? Did you wake up this morning and think you're done or what?
So if you guys are wondering what series we're talking about, it is the one that's going to be on CBS All Access, which is Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds, the Captain Pike years.
A decade without Star Trek, you got 3 new series?
I am unaccountably excited for this because Captain Pike, Anson Mount made a better Captain Kirk than Chris Pine did by far.
He's not playing Captain Kirk, but that's okay.
Well, I know, but my point being that he did a better job as Captain of the Enterprise than Chris Pine when they rebooted the series over in J.J. Abrams' first time. Like I said, I'm unaccountably excited. I really want to see where they go with this.
So do I.
And as long as they don't do something really, really dumb and screw it up, I think this is going to be the best of the series so far on All Access.
It is CBS still. It has people sticking things in it that shouldn't be involved.
Yeah, but at least it's not Fox. Just ask this question: What is the last science fiction series that has lasted for more than 2 years on Fox?
Cricket.
Directors.
Okay.
So they brought in new blood that wasn't.
Wasn't it Lawrence Kasdan that did the Empire? Because I mean, Lawrence Kasdan worked for Corelco. I mean, they're the ones that did all the Rambo movies.
Yeah, but that was a little bit later.
Huh.
Anyways, next topic.
Okay, so this has made the news once again, and it affects basically the video game community as a whole, and that is the video game inducing violence and video game addiction in times of crisis.
Mm.
This is a very touchy situation or conversation to have in general, because there is, some psychology facts in, what is addiction, and then there is the media frenzy of, oh, panic, video games make your children violent.
Panic sells papers.
Yeah. So this has once again been refired, and it is, people questioning, okay, so video games are now selling big because of the pandemic. Video game systems are selling big. The Switch is selling out everywhere, and then the news media goes, so is this going to be, what is the cause of the rise of domestic violence in homes during this time of crisis?
Yes, I beat my wife because of Pokemon, please.
Well, and here's my issue. We really have three types of video games out there. I'm gonna paint some really broad categories. We have games for kids. Pokemon is an example. We have things like Pokemon, Animal Crossing game, these simulators, Stardew Valley. We have all these games that are clearly non-violent, that are all about building and creating and getting along with other people. I don't think anybody can claim that those are creating violent kids, right? Let's just set those aside. Then we have the games that are, I'm going to call violent for a good cause. Doom was, one of the first games that where you were out there just doing nothing but killing a lot of stuff, but they were the bad guys, and we all knew they were the bad guys. They were demons, literal demons. But then let's look at the Grand Theft Autos of the world. That game exists for one sole reason, and that's to titillate. Its singular objective is to do things that are considered socially unacceptable. That literally is what the whole plot of the game is you doing things that are considered socially unacceptable for fun.
So like Grand Theft Auto.
That's what I did. Yeah, that's what I
That's the example he used.
And and I think GTA is probably the worst offender in that sense. And do kids model their entertainment? Absolutely, they do. They absolutely do. But does that mean that a kid playing GTA doesn't know right from wrong? I don't buy that. I don't believe that, and I don't believe the statistics support that.
You're making a bad assumption in that people think about their responses.
Yeah. Another thing that the media doesn't bring up, it's not the video games companies failing in monitoring or saying, hey, this is for mature audiences or this isn't made for kids. It's basically the parents going, oh yeah, you want that? Okay, sure. Anything to shut their kids up most of the time. And they don't even take a look.
And I have been in GameStop when the lady walked in there with her 12-year-old boy, and this happened, she walks in there with her 12-year-old son up to the counter, and she has, my son would like to get a copy of Grand Theft Auto. And the clerk says to her, you realize they have nudity in that game, right? There's actually a strip bar in that game where your son can go hang out and get a lap dance. And she turns to him and goes, is that true? He goes, I don't know. She goes, what else do you have that's not rated R?
Right?
And that was a mom that actually at least cared about that fact.
Yeah.
But
And
my daughter from the day that game came out, she was asking me for the game, and I'm like, I'm not buying it for you. And I've spent the last 5 years saying I'm not buying it for you. All of her friends are playing the dang game. Yet, and I don't know. Do their parents just not care or what? I don't get it.
it's very absentee parenting. And that is like, okay, unless my kid does something wrong, I'm going to trust my kid and I'm going to be my kid's friend first versus being my kid's parent first.
It's also a lack of knowledge and understanding. Most parents I know that have young kids are gamers. They understand that there is a rating system. They understand that there are parental controls. There are ways to manage this stuff. The Xbox at my friend's house is locked to the kids' channels. They can't play any of the games that the parents have.
Yeah, but
If the
that's
kids
the
log in,
examples. We're all talking about the examples of parents that are actually actively preventing their kids from getting on video games and playing video games that are rated M and are the violent video games that are brought up during, media frenzies and trials for, the reason why these kids are becoming violent and committing crime.
well, and that's just it. Every single study that I've dug into, like legitimate, proper studies, they had control groups, they had the typical proper research set up for these studies, has shown significant decreases in violent tendencies. In fact, Penn and Teller even dig into it on their what's the name of the TV show?
Bullshit. I remember that episode. And I was not impressed, to be perfectly frank with you.
Well,
and
there's actually a lot of studies out there that are saying that exposure at a young age to violent videos, violent video games, just violence in general, can cause hostile personality issues, lack of empathy, and aggressive behavior in developing brains. And that's why a lot of shows, it's like, okay, hey, this is for mature audiences. They have that on there. This is the reason for it, is because there are some kids that their 12-year-old minds don't understand that when their video game character is shooting things and things respawn, or they get they steal a car and all this crap in the video game, that's not how it works in the real life. They can't comprehend and make that connection. So whereas you say there's these studies where it's like, oh yeah, no, it's all been no, there's some studies, there's some evidence that says that kids are too immature to be playing these games. What I'm saying is, it's not just the video game's fault, it's not just the kids' fault. We're not holding the prior fucking problem to a standard. We're not holding the problem accountable. And the problem is the parenting.
Well, you're going to have a hard time with that one.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what? The parents who don't care enough to monitor what the kids are doing, those are this little thing called voters.
The thing of it is that's not at all what I'm talking about. People have been complaining that kids have been exposed to something that's corrupting them since the 50s. First it was comics, then it was radio, then it was television, now it's video games, and that's what it's going to be on and on. The only reason that you're getting more violence out of kids now than you did before is because they're exposed to it. And you can't just cut out video games, because if you watch television lately or any of the movies that are on,
and that's why I brought up the video.
When you expose a child to that kind of violence when they're young, it becomes something they can turn to as an answer. When you're in trouble, what you model, what you've seen. You're going to become violent
and
instead of
even if they're
reasoning.
watching TV, we still reflect fighting. There it is. 3, 1.
Eh?
Okay, she's just counting. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. I love this. You just said that because I said I would read things out loud, didn't you? Huh, Panda? Huh?
Yeah, we're having a little meta moment. No, I actually very
okay.
much
I
agree
like
that
it.
people like to use scapegoats because no, it's not my parenting. I'm not the problem. Hmm.
Another instance where I think parenting is part of the problem is I keep seeing like little kids that are like they go missing, and when I say little kids, I mean like 3 or 4 years old, and then it's okay. The kid's found safe. That is great, and then you find out that this is like the 4th or 5th time that the kid's gone missing. The kid's wandered off. And it's like, how in the hell do you leave your 3-year-old? Okay, hold on. So, people, I love this. Nope, there are 4 people and 1 picture. Maybe. And a kitty. Judd, you got me there. And it's gone. I can't forget the kitten. Okay, there we go. I read it out loud. You guys are having way too much fun with that.
Joke.
It is. You guys are gonna make me sit there and fucking read all night. Thank you. Yeah, no, but a lot of it is just like we're not holding parents accountable, and if we could wrap our heads around that, and they're like, oh no, don't blame them. They're already traumatized. No, seriously. If more people were held accountable, there might be some actual change.
Just a quick technical nerdy moment. That is, I'm using a combination of a green screen.
Yes,
and
I was right.
XSplit VCam, and what's fun is I can change my background anytime I want. So, we will. How about
we're gonna wait until it glitches and it looks like he's just grinning indefinitely again, like the Joker.
If he glitches out with that weird grin on his face again, it's gonna be glorious.
He's pretending to right now, but it was great.
There we go. I'm now in Data's quarters on the Enterprise D.
Yeah, no, yeah, there is a clinical definition of addiction, but there is also a type of disorder called.
Oh yes, I love the Hawaii Man shirt, by the way.
Oh crap, what's it called? I don't know. I'd have to ask my brother. That's his specialization is psychiatry, and he has dealt with a lot of different types of addiction because that's his specialization. He hasn't had to deal with a gamer addiction yet, but I've been meaning to ask him about that because companies are hiring people to make their games more addictive, to make their websites more addictive. That freaking what is it? Dopamine cycle that keeps people coming back. It's one of the reasons why I really hate loot box gaming, because it's the exact same mechanism that slot machines work on.
It's the don't they call that a Skinner box, Jim? Because of the pigeon experiment. Was it
Skinner box? Skinner box is more like what a slot machine does.
Right, which is the same thing as the loot boxes
And
I don't know who's boxing. Is it the picture?
If they were giving you, Jesus Christ, I don't know, Tom.
Yeah, I mean that. I think we're all familiar with that experiment where you basically took the psychologist did. He took 3 sets of animals and put them in different situations. And in one situation, the animal would push a button and food would come out of a slot. Every time you push the button, you get 1 item of food. And then the second one, he'd push a button a random number of times, and you would get food after a random number of what button pushes. And in the third situation, they pushed the button and nothing happened. And as you might expect, the one where they got the most pushes of the button is the one where you didn't get food every time. One time he pushes it 3 times, he gets food. Then he pushes it 5 times, he gets food. Well, surprisingly enough, he'll push it until he gets food. And that's how we have that same, as humans, we have that same reflex. We want a prize. We're willing to pay and pay and pay until we get the prize. And what my kid never understood, when she was little, is that she'd put $20 into one of those claw machines to get a prize that you can buy for $5 at Toys R Us. Yeah, and that's the downside to the Skinner boxes. You're often spending a lot more money than you would.
I'm gonna read this comment.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Panda is wondering about who's talking. We informed Panda that it's the one with the green ring around it, and then Panda goes, "Hawaii shit, man." That's like my previous high school teacher. Okay, that is fine. Good. And I am going to say that if it's funny, I'm probably going to say it just the way you typed it. Just saying. And that was perfect.
And not to get macabre for a minute, this is the shirt I wore to my dad's funeral.
You wore a Hawaiian shirt to your
I am not kidding you.
Yeah,
when he passed away,
know his dad.
Yeah, you had to know my dad. When my dad passed away, my pastor and he were good friends. And someone said, I really think Dan would like it if we all wore Hawaiian shirts to his memorial service. And so I went out and I bought the biggest, brightest, loudest Hawaiian shirt I could find. I'm standing up there talking in a room full of 1,000 people. And, I mean, we filled that church, Jim. I mean, we filled that building with people. And everybody loved it. And in this shirt.
Yeah, that reminds me.
Dude. You cannot wear this without having a sense of humor. And if
Panda says sorry.
If you'd know that if anything, my dad had a sense of humor. He was a smart ass, and he loved being a smart ass, and he taught me to do it and do it well. So.
You have some big shoes to fill, got it. Or big Hawaiian shirts to fill.
The funny part is when I was in Hawaii, I never saw Hawaiian shirts like that.
Yeah, I think they're calling them floral print shirts now. Because people in Hawaii don't actually wear shirts like this.
Yeah. I've never been on an island. There we go. There's just part of me that's I'm allergic to way too much, and I could just imagine going to Hawaii. The big fucking flowers, all that shit. And I would just blow up like a fucking balloon.
I mean, I didn't have allergies when I went there, and I still had issues.
Yeah.
My buddy flies to a tropical island and gets stung by a bee the size of her head.
I'm allergic to the small bees, okay?
They have to bring her home in that, that big giant cargo carrier that they used to carry rockets in.
Tom, I shall remember this. Remember that. I will remember this one.
There will be a reckoning.
There's video evidence of this one. There we go.
Well,
I never traveled. I feel ya. I don't travel too much.
Behavior reminds me of a quote from a book that Tom and Brad, as well as myself, used to like reading. Are you always a smartass? No, sometimes I'm asleep.
I'm asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Brad got it.
Take a second to register.
Jim's looking around. Tom looks bored.
No, the Dresden Files, which there hasn't been.
Oh, yeah.
4 years.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, it goes from nothing for like 6 years to 2 books in a single year.
Which was the story in that he was trying to outweigh his wife because she got part of the royalties in the divorce settlement?
Well, but he wrote 14 of them, and just he was putting them out it seemed like every 6 or 7 months he was putting them out. He probably got burned out.
Putting out a book. He was putting out 2 books a year. One was Dresden Files, and one was usually something else.
Yeah, and there was no Dresden Files that I didn't like.
You know what? I liked them, but I went back and tried to reread them, and I'm finding them slow reading.
I found them to be
I'm supposed to be sleeping right now, but this podcast is interesting. Oh, you guys, we're interesting. Yay.
I thought it'd be much more interesting, instead of reading those books by the Dresden Files, is to find the audio tapes that James Marsters read.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's how I did it. That's how I'm doing it right now. I've read all the books so many times.
Yeah.
And right now I'm constantly doing work in my house, so it's like, hey, I've got the audiobooks for all these. They were like an extra couple of bucks when I bought the ebooks of them on Amazon. I was like, all right. James
Yeah,
Marsters. Hell yeah. I listened to him all, and it's great.
he's really good at it. It's very entertaining.
I
And
was
there
really
goes
weirded
Judd.
out.
Judd.
You made me
I
think
was-
about drinking, and now he wants to go get a Coke.
I actually had the audiobook, the one that James Marster had a scheduling conflict and couldn't do. And then Amazon's like, oh, we're going to re-record it with James Marston after all the fans complained. And
you're
if
kidding.
you, there was one book that you can go look it up. It's actually, there's an entry on the Wikipedia. This is how much like fan revolt there was. And he went back and re-recorded it. And when people asked him about it, he's like, it was a scheduling conflict. I love the Dresden series. I love doing the audiobooks.
Well,
But
yeah,
at the time, I couldn't do it.
yeah, he used to talk about it at the cons. He enjoyed doing them. And I actually, you have to take what the stars that are there at the cons say with a grain of salt, because I mean they're being paid to be there. But he seemed genuine when I heard him talking about it. That he really did enjoy it.
Yeah, and they brought him back. They re-recorded that one. I feel kind of sad for the guy that did the previous recording. It kind of sucks that his has been supplanted, but I mean, he did get paid for it at least. At least he got paid for it. He is making money off of it, so he's not completely screwed. It just he caught a ton of hate for it, and it's not his fault.
No. As fans are, man, we're rabid. We play video games and watch TV. We can get violent. Better be careful.
Hey, Jim.
Awesome.
Oh, that's the MP3 CD, isn't it?
Yeah, check you out. You wouldn't actually purchase them.
Yeah.
I would have done the whole thing, but they stopped at book 4.
Yeah, that's when Audible took over.
Yeah, because now you just download them.
Well, it was really annoying for a while. It's like MP3 CD, you can play it in your car. It's like, yeah, but 90% of the cars out there didn't support it.
Yeah, but mine did, and they were glorious.
That's one of the few things I love about having like my iPhone plug into my car is I can listen to Audible. Oh, it makes long drives so much easier.
This was back before all that. For whatever reason, the stereo I had in the car would play MP3s, and dude, it was glorious because I could put in like 6 hours worth of music on one CD, and it didn't matter how far I was driving. I never heard the same thing twice. It was great.
Not to pull out on I was doing it before they were cool moment, but
Oh God.
I remember I took a trip to I had to take a trip.
No.
I'm not that much of a
Okay,
nerd.
let's see if I can't raid someone.
So you're doing that. I'm going to get a VR avatar then and just be that on stream.
See if who's that guy in Twitch we were talking about earlier?
Kato?
Kato. See if Kato's on. Rate him.
Super Kato 1K.
I was going to raid one of my friends, but
You have friends?
oh yeah, I've got friends.
Wow.
You have friends? You must be special.
Oh.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
That's not it.
Okay,
Well-
we are raiding. We're gonna raid with 3 viewers, and I love how some people leave.
All
when
three
that
of
happens.
us.
Yeah.
Come
Okay,
back.
3, 2, 1. We're raiding.
Hi, my lovely fly.
What is this?
We didn't actually. Okay, that was interesting because we didn't actually hear the 3, 2, 1 we're rating because as soon as you that part hadn't spooled out the stream yet.
Did you run the stream already?
Nope, we're still on stream. I'm raiding.
Hey, Intel Bunny, thanks
Party
for
of
the
7.
raid.
Ah.
Oh,
They get us too.
with the rate of 7.
What is a raid?
Sorry, I didn't pop in.
It's basically introducing my viewers to another streamer, and we're gonna basically just flood his channel with a bunch of text. So my chat turns into his chat.
Oh, yeah.
So have fun with all the emojis that you want. Be polite, you know.
Raid time? What's up, guys?
Basically, have fun with it.
Yeah, basically, you know, it's just a fun little quirky thing to do at the end of a live stream.
I know that game.
Oh my.
I know, right?
Hope you're having I'm having a thing.
Damn,
right
man. We're all the ones that smoke. What's up with you?
now. Can't be.
Hot sauce down rock pipe.
Oh my god. Hey,
Awesome.
Pinky pink.
Oh, lungs burning with Tabasco. Oh god. Oh god, that burns.
Go ahead. You know you want to say it, Tom. Say it.
Tomorrow I got
Because you
my
love
first
it so
match
much?
Fire in the hole, baby. Come on.
God damn it, don't make me laugh, it's worse.
Good luck with your game. Oh, thank you.
I guess
And the live stream will title as suffering because it's great.
Oh god.
The back out button.
Oh god.
I'll accidentally lag out.
Hey, I bet it works better.
Oh shit! There we go.